Hello and welcome to the 241st episode of Beer Issues. My name is Matt Brucker and I'm coming to you live here from Casa de Brucker. We're going to be having another fantastic holiday beer and from one of the only 11 Trappist breweries in the entire world and the only Trappist brewery here in the United States. That is Spencer Trappist. We're going to be having the Spencer Trappist Holiday Ale. So I'm very excited to have this. Although I won't say this is my first time having it, I can say it's my first time having it today. So let's go ahead and open it up and let's talk about it. Okay, so first of all, we'll pour it into this beautiful Spencer glass. Okay. And we'll pour it to where we get a little bit of a head so we can get the flavors and smells and everything like that. All right, so let's let that sit for a second while we talk about this. Now this beer is rated a 91 out of 100, which makes it an outstanding beer, and I'm gonna have to agree. It is a Belgian strong ale that has the holiday spices. So it's a Trappist strong ale, which means, we've talked about this before, what a Trappist ale it is. It just means the brewing of the beer is supervised by the monks. It also means it's typically a non-profit. They're just, all the funds go to the monastery up in, I think it's St. Joseph's Monastery up in Spencer, Massachusetts. So that kind of explains what this is. The beer clocks in at 9% alcohol by volume, which makes it more of a sipper than a pounder, needless to say. You don't want to go around pounding this, you'll fall asleep way too early. So anyway, let's just real quick take a check of the smell here. Now, the funny thing is on the smell, you're not getting the holiday spices. Okay, you're not really smelling those holiday spices. You're smelling more of like a fruit, like a dark fruit, like more of like a plum, a little bit of malty, like caramel in there, maybe some toffee, but more of a fruity smell to it, which is kind of surprising because I know it tastes a little bit different than that. Oh yeah, very fruity smelling. Now, the flavor of the beer does have the dark fruit flavor in it and the caramel malty in it, but it also has a pretty strong presence of the holiday spices like the cloves, and I'm not sure what else exactly. I'll see if I can pick it out exactly. But it definitely, I remember, from drinking this recently, that it does have a good amount of the holiday spices. Not too much, because I have had holiday beers that have too much of the spices in it. And for me, that kind of ruins the beer if they overspice it. I think there's a perfect balance between it. And we'll talk about other beers that have a really good balance of the holiday spices with the beer, okay? So let's waste no time. Let's go ahead and dig into this beauty. You see that reddish color beer with a little bit of off-white head, good retention. I believe we're getting some lacing on the sides there. So overall, an excellent start to this 9% beauty from Spencer Trappist Breweries in Spencer, Massachusetts. Okay, so on the taste, when the taste comes through, the beginning, you get that sweet, like fruitiness, along with like the caramel type, probably caramel malts that they might use. Almost like a brown sugary in there also, it almost seems like, in flavor. Now, you got to think about this. They're not using these items. We've talked about this before. When I describe the taste of a beer, that's not because they're using these items, but it's the malts that they use to derive the flavors that we're getting, okay? And the spices, now they could put some of the spices into the beer. I'm not saying that. But as far as like, there's no fruit in this beer. There's no caramel in this beer. There might be caramel malts, but just keep that in mind when I talk about the flavors. That's what I'm speaking of. Now, this beer is absolutely phenomenal, but when you start off with that fruit and it kind of finishes with the holiday spices at the end. Let me try that again. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So just like I said, you're getting that holiday spice, like the clove flavor in there, and it stands out. The clove kind of stands out as its own separate thing throughout the beer, but you're also getting that beautiful like dark fruit type flavor in there that you get from a lot of Belgian strong ales. You're getting definitely like a caramel malt. You get alcohol taste, but it's not like a overwhelming alcohol taste that you would expect from like a 9 or 10% beer, and that's pretty standard of a Belgian strong ale. To where even though it is boozy, you don't get a real boozy taste out of it. Ah, you can't beat that. And I really love my new Spencer glass. They had a special where you got a Spencer Holiday Ale, a Spencer Pale Ale, Trappist Pale Ale, and a Spencer Quad, and then a glass, and you paid one price and you got all 4 items, which was a pretty good treat because I can't seem to find the Belgian Quad in any other way. And I love a good Belgian Quad, as we know. So I got the pack. So probably maybe next episode we might be doing an episode on their quad, which is called Monk's Reserve. So we'll talk about that, but that could be coming up real soon, like maybe next episode. Who knows? I can't wait to have it though. So excellent beer, excellent Trappist brewery, one of only 11 in the world. They've been a Trappist brewery up in Spencer, Massachusetts since I think they officially got going in 2013 up there, and they spent 2.5 years before they did it, when they decided they were going to open up the brewery, going to all the Trappist monasteries over in Europe, to Belgium. I know they went to West-Verletten, which is the #1 rated quad in the world. They went there to that Trappist monastery. They went to Westmalt, which we've done beer issues on both of those before. Well, we haven't done it on the West-Verletten because we can't actually purchase West-Verletten in the United States, and they just don't ship here. But from 1949 to 1991, St. Bernardus Brewery made West-Verletten. So we've done St. Bernardus, so I kind of feel that we've kind of done it before. But anyway, they toured around for 2.5 years, going and learning the secrets from the monks in the different monasteries on how they could kind of form their beer. And all the monasteries got behind opening up the first U.S. Trappist brewery. So it is truly a Trappist brewery. They have to abide by strict guidelines for being a Trappist brewery, and that's obviously being a non-profit, being a monastery. The supervision of the beer making has to be by the monks. So there's a lot to it. So if you've enjoyed this and learned anything about good Trappist beers, make sure you tell your friends about Beer Issues and how much fun we're having talking about and drinking great beers. And if you want any cool Beer Issues gear, make sure you go to shop.beerissues.com. And as my wife likes to say, I have beer issues.